Hey, are you recording me?
Yeah, dude, I'm doing a little bit of recording.
I didn't give you permission to record me, man.
Well, I don't feel like I always need permission. You know what? We're in a public area, and I want to ask you some questions.
You want to ask me some questions? You know how much time I did already? I've done
Time,
15 years of my life behind bars,
like in prison?
like in prison.
Is that where you got those
That's
tattoos?
exactly where I got these tattoos.
Dude, well, I didn't know that before I turned on the camera, bro.
I'm just kidding, man. You can
You want
record.
to do an interview?
Yeah.
All right, man. What's your name?
Thomas,
How old are you, Tommy?
I'm 45.
What's your source of income for any money that you make?
Right now, absolutely none. Being cops threw my wallet away or lost it or whatever, so all my identification is gone.
The cops threw your wallet away.
Oh yeah, they're notorious for that.
What happened? I mean, how did it come to them throwing your wallet away? Tell us what went down.
So I had I'd been hanging around some real shady people that were probably into some shady shit that I didn't get involved with, but sometimes, you're guilty by association.
Shady like drug stuff?
Yeah.
Like prostitution?
No, just drugs.
Drugs?
Yeah, so
Is it homeless people?
homeless people. And so I ended up being followed by the police. Well, I I got emboldened and started ditching them. Like every turn I would take, I'd see two or three, I'd see cars trailing me. Now it was always the same ones, out of state tags, four-door Jeep Wrangler, a white Tesla.
So you think it was police in these cars?
Oh yeah, it was some type of law enforcement. I don't know exactly which type it was because their honestly their presence was known, but their affiliations weren't.
Did they ever say anything? How often did they actually reach out to you and speak to you?
None. And every time I approached them, they wouldn't look me in the eye and they'd stare straight down on the ground. I have quite a few incidences. I had a friend over at the other racetrack right there on East Bay gas station, and she's a shift manager. And I was talking to her. She asked me to tell me a little bit more about myself, and I noticed that there was a gentleman wearing black shirt, black glasses, and a hat slung low over his head, stirring the coffee at the stir station for almost 5 minutes. So it's not too many people in the store. It's obvious he's eavesdropping on my conversation. So I say, sure. Once upon a time, there was a gentleman stirring his coffee for 5 minutes too long, eavesdropping. The minute I say that, now she's waiting on her boyfriend to come and get her. I'm just hanging out with her. So the minute I say that, he goes and buys his coffee and leaves. A few minutes later, her boyfriend shows up, and then she leaves, and I leave behind her. Well, that gentleman turned out to be at the church parking lot right across the street from there, the only car in the parking lot, in the center of it. Well, as I'm riding my bike out, he's next to the sidewalk, maybe about 15 yards away from his Tesla. And he's just looking at me. I thought that was a little creepy. So I bent in the corner, but then I was like, you know what, fuck that. I want to find out what this is about. So I go back, and he's inside the Tesla. Big, huge parking lot. I literally circled this guy's Tesla on my bicycle like a hungry shark circles a diver. And you know what he does?
What do you do?
Stares at the steering wheel and doesn't even look up at me. Doesn't acknowledge me, doesn't say nothing.
Did you consider knocking on the window and saying, "Excuse me, sir, how are you today? Do you mind if I ask if you're affiliated with law enforcement, anything like that?"
No, I didn't do that. It was the whole vibe was creepy, man. It just completely creepy.
What other experiences have you had where you think it was police that were surveilling you in unmarked vehicles?
Okay, so there was another time there was a rally right here on Elmerton Road down towards Clearwater Lago Airport.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting on the ledge. It's about 10 o'clock at night, and by this time I'd noticed I'd been trailed for about 3 weeks.
By different vehicles?
Yeah, most of them were the same, but they were all out-of-state tags.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I used to do side work for the 7-Eleven on East Bay in Missouri. And this gentleman came in. He was a black guy, looked like one of the first 48 detectives. Nice pimp suit, hat, the whole 9 yards. Cop off rip. So as he's leaving, I said, "Can I ask you a question, sir, before you leave?" He said, "Yeah, hurry up." And he bought some Fantasy 5 tickets. And this is the second day when I realized I was being followed. Well, I turned around and he said, "Yeah, come on, hurry up. I got things I got to do." So he's opening the door, but he's got his wallet open. I see a U.S. Marshal badge inside of his wallet. I said, "Are you a detective?" He said, "Yeah, but not the kind you think I am." I don't even know how to say what to say to that. Do you know anything about me? He said, "Yeah, you. I don't know anything about." I didn't ask no more questions. I left it at that and just kind of like
So you thought it was a cop surveilling you.
Right.
You found out it was someone in law enforcement. He disclosed that to you, but claimed to not be watching you or know anything about you.
Yeah. Apparently that's, yeah. So it was completely, all of it was like really creepy and odd. So I would lose them at every turn. Like I ride a bike, they drive cars. I'm on the main road. You know what I mean? I can ditch you really fast. You know what I mean? I pedal fast. I build bikes. You know what I mean? That's my thing. I love to do that.
Build bicycles.
Oh yeah. So I had a Specialized. It's a pretty expensive model, and I ditched them. And this is how I know I was being followed. I ditched them on Lake Avenue. Lake is real dark. The street, all Lake is dark, completely dark.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. There's no street lights.
Right.
Yeah.
So I ditch them on Lake, and I slide it beside this apartment complex. Well, the nightlife with the lights and all just starts going. The engines start revving. It's obvious that they lost their target and they were looking for me. So I said, okay, now I got the information I need. You know what I mean? So I get back out onto the main road, and they slow down. They slow down towards me and just keep looking at me like this. And then surveillance doubled up for a couple days, and then it backed off again. I'm observant, so I pay attention.
How many times have these people who you thought were surveilling you actually ask you for identification?
Oh, they never did any of that. But you know, the one thing about it is I never had any police interaction during that whole time. None, not once whatsoever.
When's the last time you were arrested?
Just recently. So this whole thing came to an end. My bike had gotten taken. One of the guys, I believe it was one of the guys in the trucks, I chained it to itself at a store in Penrose Park, and I was in there for 30 seconds. I grabbed a drink. I came out. My Cannondale was gone. There would have been one of the trucks wouldn't follow me all day. You know, he wasn't following me no more. So I just kind of snapped, and next thing you know, I ended up in jail. They dropped the charges 30 days later. And
what was the charge?
It was 3 of them. It was 4 of them actually. One of them was a misdemeanor. The other 3 were felonies.
They dropped them all?
Yeah.
You had 3 felonies dismissed.
Listen, yes, and this is not. And I've been to prison 5 times, by the way. Okay.
Okay, folks, hold on. We're going to start another segment with this gentleman and hear about his prison experience. Stay with us.